As you know, APC Professionals Forum is a registered support group of our party, comprising of professionals. I want you to permit me to tell you that we have a lot of members scattered all over the country just because of the scarcity of time and convenience. They are not here, but we are working especially to support the mantra of the party. As umbrella forum for professionals and proponents of party ideologies and principles, we have taken serious responsibilities to stand as guardian and minder to the core value and the necessity that gave birth to the APC, which in essence, the party of mass movement embraced by the lower class, like the Talakawas, and the middle class, to rescue Nigeria from the brink of collapse from the APC maladministration before 2015. During the electionary process, political parties goes into social contact with our citizens after an election is won and concluded, with primary responsibility to deliver on the social contract promised during the electionary campaigns. In this scenario, the Nigerian people voted for our party as a better alternative to PDP in 2015 and 2019 respectively, to rescue them from the governance of the past. It is on this note, we as a responsible party, government and stakeholders should be asking ourselves how far so far in the policy, formulations and implementation in line with manifesto and agenda we promise Nigerians as a party. If policymakers, political appointees now from our party can engage with our professionals, stakeholders in the party in reading out their outstanding achievements and performances, it will reduce the stress in communicating to our communities, towns and villages what we have achieved as a scorecard since the formation and enthronement of APC as a governing party, as well as ease our campaign and messaging as prepared towards 2023 election. Reality speaking, APC have done more with less. But the more we have done is what we should be engaging our party members, the general public and the media for further dissemination of this achievement to our respective communities. In other words, Your Excellency, if our members are engaged and giving the rundown of our achievement, we'll be able to go to our various villages, wards, communicate with our fellow townmen and women to be able to tell them, look, there is a federal road behind our village. There is a pipe water located within us that some of them do not know. And we can be able to communicate this through our local languages. As we move towards the next general election, APC professionals, in collaboration with our patriotic APC Press Corps and the leadership of the party, and as well as the office of the SSA to the President of Media and Publicity, to partner relevant MPAs, ministers, DGs, institutions of government in analyzing our performance so far, and as well as the delivery we are giving to the Nigerian people in line with our party manifesto and campaign promises. Finally, we welcome you, Excellencies, distinguished party men and women, ladies and gentlemen, to this inaugural edition of Media Parley with policymakers ladies. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Let me start by thanking you for all the efforts that you have put in place to enlighten people, to educate people, and to support the administration of the APC led by President Buhari. Please clap for the Professional Forum. Now, I bring you greetings from the national chairman, who is so passionate about this forum. The national chairman said I should tell you. Which one do I use? Okay. To communicate to you that he loves you and is ready to partner with you. And before I will go on, let me give you a little background. How we started and where we are now. The caretaker committee is a child of sudden circumstance. We came on board when APC as a party. I'm bold to say we were dwindling. We lost a lot of grounds, we lost a lot of states. And to the glory of God and the kindness and humility and the peaceful nature of the national chairman, you are your witness. We have reclaimed grounds that we lost, and we are going to do more. And when I had interaction with you, I don't know what they are going to report, but I like to be honest. One of the complaints a lot of complaints, sir, about us. That you see these people who form groups, who believe in the president. These are professionals. What they were looking for, apart from good governance, they were also looking for patronage. Professionals were looking for patronage. Sometimes they encounter a lot of problems with government appointees, and it's quite frustrating. And taking into consideration this, most of these complaints, the chairman of this party met with the president, and the idea was mooted, the idea of forming a tripartite committee. That committee happened to be almost the last bus stop where everything will be discussed. The legislatures are there, the executive is there, and the party is there, so we discuss it. The outcome of what is happening yesterday and today in terms of board appointment is as a result of the pally or what we are doing in that committee. The president is a listening president. Most of the things you may complain about, he may not know. And once you bring those issues before the president, he would treat it with dispatch. And another thing that we have achieved, which is a very recent one, is the issue of petroleum, the increase in petroleum pump price of the petroleum. The party say no to it. It doesn't matter what they are advanced. It doesn't matter the economic circumstance. The party say no, the time is not right. That's the position of the party. And they listen. So we have tabled your matter. One of the things we are doing now for you, we are thinking that we should attach you to almost all the political appointees, professional people who work for this party, who keep defending the president from lies of the detractors, or those who are against this government. Because if you want to evaluate the achievement of this government, there have never been a government like this in the history of Nigeria. Yes. And I'm not playing politics. I'm a sociologist. Show me any government that has brought in a program, a social program that touched directly to that has a direct link with the masses. As I'm talking to you now, if you go to villages, people the bank are full with people taking their 20,000 naira from the PW works. Everywhere in Nigeria, people are having access. People are having access. The only problem we're having in this country is the magnanimity of the president. The president throws his program open to Nigerians. It doesn't matter which political party you belong. Unlike the other party. The days of PDP, it wasn't so. It was either PDP or nothing. But the president allowed Nigeria, you open the portal, you can key into it, whether you like him or not, everyone keys into his program. Everyone keys into his program. As I'm talking to you now, COVID-19 palliative, the loans, people are collecting it. You go to the Ministry of Labor, civil servants are collecting 450,000, 1 million. They are not saying anything. A number of people benefit from this program. In fact, some of the people don't even get most of this program. The Nigerians are enjoying this program. And he's a listening president. Chairman says, I should thank you, professionals. There's special thanks. What is the thanks? In the face of difficulties, in the face of frustration, in the face of what you are facing, you still stand with this party. You still defend the president. Most of the defense on Twitter, I've seen you on Twitter, I've seen you in all the social media, you are defending this government. You're not selfish. I'm not benefiting from this program. I'm not doing this program. This government not patronize me. But let me give you a story. There is nothing you do in this life. There is nothing you do in honesty that you will not be rewarded. There is nothing you put in that you will not be rewarded. It might be your turn today, tomorrow it might be your turn. Some other person would defend you the way you are defending this government. So the membership registration has given you another opportunity again. This is where I'm going to end. Don't just say I'm supporting. Please, the election is coming. Contest for every available position in Nigeria as professional. We are looking for educated people. Contest for every available position in Nigeria. At least try. If you don't succeed, you'll be compensated. You must contest. You women must contest. Disabled people must contest. Young professionals must contest. So let me thank you for everything you have done. And be rest assured that the chairman is a listening chairman. And whatsoever we will do within our powers to enhance you, we will do that. Thank you so much.
I want to first of all pay homage to the party for offering this hall to the professionals to me. This is a mark of openness and democracy for which our party should be commended. And I'm sure they're not paying anything for using this hall. I also would like to commend the Professionals Forum for making this opportunity available to their membership so that they would be empowered with information. When I remember the English people, when they were teaching literacy in northern Nigeria. The Governor General of Northern Nigeria at that time said something like, they taught people how to read and write, but there were no books, no reading material. And so he said, we have taught people how to ride horses, but we have given them no horses to ride. And I think this is the situation we're in here. We have people who have access to our communities, who want to propagate the good work we are doing, but if we don't empower them with information, then they get nothing done. And a lot of the times we feel pity for some of our supporters. They are pushed to silence online because they don't have the staff. So for giving us this opportunity also to come and make a presentation, I really appreciate this. And I'm pleased with the opening statements by the National Secretary because he has done much of my work for me, pointing at key strategic initiatives of the administration that we can showcase anywhere as accomplishments. Now, in this presentation, I would like to tell you that my view is that we can compartmentalize President Muhammadu Buhari's administration's accomplishments in two parts. There is the intangible part, that which you cannot feel and touch. And you are talking about value infusion, value improvement in affairs of the country. This is a president who, for instance, has strengthened the office of the Auditor General of the Federation in order to make sure that every amount of money that is paid to ministries and the agencies is accounted for at the end of the day. Before 2015, you can almost say that the office and the business of Accountant General of the Federation has been abolished. Because, and we're hearing this from the National Assembly sessions when they call it audit query issued for 4 years is not responded to. Now do that under Buhari and you see what will follow. You are given 2 weeks to answer audit query. If you don't do it, you are in trouble. Now, when he was inaugurated in 2015, I remember the speech he read. He said, look, I'm not going to run good government at the top when the lower levels of government are doing badly. Today, as I speak to you, the president has almost concluded and is going to embark upon this in partnership with the World Bank and the states in the country to inaugurate fiscal accountability, transparency, and sustainability program. And the aim is to ensure that there is good governance, there is accountability, there is transparency at the sub-national level. So that when people say there is good governance at the center, and then they say local government is dead, they will come back. With all of the things that are going on now in the country, financial independence for local councils, financial independence for judiciary, financial independence for state assemblies, this is the only way democracy will work in this country. And look at, I see many cameras and the press. Look at press freedom in the country today. I say this wherever I go, there is not one single journalist in detention today being kept there because Buhari said, lock him up. In my own practice, PR journalism, I've been to Kuje, I've been to jail, I've been to seize my passport and all of this is not happening in this country to journalists today. Freedom of the press is there for everyone, almost to a fault. President Buhari does not kill political opponents. I'm not making accusations against anyone, but read the history books, you know what has happened in this country in the past. President Muhammadu Buhari ranks among the toughest African leaders against violence against women, against rape, against sexual molestation. I'm not saying this of Nigeria, but if you look around the continent, there are leaders who consider women in their nations as also possessions of the leader to be abused. So there are a lot of qualitative things. We take for granted. We don't reflect on these things and we think, say people will open their mouth and say Buhari has done nothing. Yeah, Buhari can be accused for not executing opponents. You know, he doesn't take the laws into his hands. He doesn't order judges to say, jail this man or that woman, or free that man or that woman. Even if it is a family member, when they cross the lines of the law, President Buhari does not say, set them free. Under his watch, this country's highest law officer has been put to trial and convicted. The third most important public official on the executive side. They have tried him. The number one officer of the parliament had been tried. So what are we talking about? So much for the intangibles. Let me look at, okay, before I look at, and these things about, look at what is happening with the treasury single account and all of these things that are happening. If you go to the office of the Accountant General of the Federation today, there's a massive TV screen where you will see any government agency today that moves 5 million naira and above. It is showing there. And the president is able to see this on screen. So it's not possible for somebody, because he's a big man, to order the accountant of the office and say, go and bring dollar or pounds and take to my house. These are things that, so this thing about the disapproval of wrongdoing, the creation of the moral environment for the right things only to be done. For Nigerians to accept the fact that corruption is even wrong. In the past, even at the rhetorical level, we had governments that did not even condemn corruption, not for one day. They did not show disapproval. So today, Nigerians, you read on the web, Facebook, with all of these things, Nigerians will take picture of a policeman that harasses them. Look at all of these things that are going with NSAS Commission's judicial inquiry. I was stopped at a checkpoint 5 years ago. They demanded the bribe for me, or they seized my money. I was coming from the airport. My suitcase was removed. And then they are able to name officers, and people are being brought to trial today. Again, we're asking Nigerians, don't take these things for granted. Now, let me go to the physical side of things, things that most people see, touch. Because there's also something with visibility. Seeing, as they say, is believing. That's why in our villages, when they build a classroom now in the local government or a new building, they make sure that they put a red roof on it so that people will see the redness from far. And they say, that is the classroom built by chairman. So there is beauty in it, and it takes us somewhere. Now, look at what is happening with the railway, for instance, in the country. The 156-kilometer Lagos-Ibadan standard gauge railway is almost completed. In fact, commissioning is being projected at sometime in July or thereabouts. The 327-kilometer Itape-Wari standard gauge rail line. In the last few days, it's being used to transport huge pipelines for the construction of the AKK gas pipeline. This is a rail track that they started laying 33 years ago. President Buhari finished it and he has put it to use now. The Abuja-Kaduna, they claim they finished it, which is not true. Even the electronics, the electric part of it was not done. More than 20% of the job was left undone. President Buhari completed it and is now, in fact, being used to fight banditry, because the rail is a safe means of transportation against bandits that at some point had impacted on that road. The Abuja light rail is today in use and is being expanded. And now the groundbreaking ceremony had been undertaken for the revamping of the Port Harcourt-Maiduguri narrow gauge rail line. And the financing is today being discussed and about being finalized for the Ibadan-Kano rail projects. And of course, you also know that the groundbreaking ceremony had been done of also the Kano, Katsina, Maradi rail line, the standard gauge rail line. Now, with roads, we have in place what President Buhari calls PID, Presidential Infrastructure Development Fund. He has funded it. He is funding it with more than $1 billion US. And this is why work is going on unstoppably on the Abuja, Kaduna, Zaria, Kano Expressway, on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, and on the second Niger Bridge. Today, as we speak, government is even looking beyond government funding. It is opening up the funding for road infrastructure to private investors. There is the one we call Executive Order 7, by which you have bridges like the Bodo Boni in rivers, the Apapa Oshodi Oron Sheki Ojota in Lagos. These things are going on. There is also the Highway Development Management Initiative, which is a public-private partnership. And in the first phase, over $1 trillion naira of private investment into the development and maintenance of 12 roads in the country, totaling to about 2,000 kilometers in length. Are being done. More than 360 billion naira has been raised from Sukuk funds, and a lot of roads in critical need for repair are being attended to from 2017 to now. In a nutshell, there are more than 600 road projects, federal road projects that are ongoing now. And most of them have been found to have been commenced and abandoned. Contracts for roads were just being given in order to please, to generate publicity and take credit, but funding was not being done. And I give you one example: Kano Katsina dual carriageway. 2 years before Muhammad Buhari came into office, there was a big ceremony. President cutting tape to declare not one naira was paid to contract for all the 2 years. Now go and see, more than half of that road is done, and it is still ongoing. And there are so many of these roads across the country. I will talk about the ports now. And you know that as we speak today, new terminals for international airports for Lagos, Abuja, Kano, and Port Harcourt have been accomplished. Port Harcourt has already been commissioned, Abuja commissioned. The others are on the way to being ceremonially put being commissioned. Government has also constructed new runway for Abuja and the Enugu Airport. Enugu International Airport is world-class today. And there is also approval that has been given by government for private sector funded deep seaport. Deep seaports, the Lekki deep seaport in Lagos, and construction is already underway and is due for completion in 2022. The Boni River State deep seaport, the Ibom deep seaport, and the Warri deep seaport. Now, let's talk about power. Government has instituted what it calls energizing education program, by which universities are being taken out of the national grid system and being powered by clean energy, solar-powered energy. And today, this project is complete in at least 4 universities. BUK, Funai in Ebonyi, ATBU Bauchi, and Fupre in Delta. There's also the program of energizing economies program, by which big markets in the country are being isolated again and being powered with solar energy 24 hours in a day. And as we speak today, this program has been accomplished in Sabongari market in Kano, Ariara market, I hope I got it right.
Yeah.
Ariaria market in Aba, and the Sura shopping complex in Lagos. There is also the ongoing mass metering program. It's a big issue for the country. People take power, they don't pay, and then when it fails, they abuse government. By December this year, last year, Central Bank had issued 14 billion naira for the funding of this metering program, and it is going on. There's also the Solar Power Niger, as we are fully aware, that 5 million of grid connections in Northern Nigeria is being worked upon, was launched by the Vice President recently in Jigawa State. And the program is expected to increase, to generate additional 7 billion naira in tax revenue per annum and $10 million US in import substitution. And there is also the Presidential Power Initiative, which is also called the Siemens Power Program. Siemens helped Egypt to stabilize power distribution and supply to homes. And it is that model the Nigerian government is borrowing. Siemens of Germany, with the strong support of Chancellor Angela Merkel, is working with the government of President Buhari in order to accomplish this. And the idea is to upgrade and modernize Nigeria's electricity grid system. And the contract for the pre-engineering phase of this work had been issued in February this year, and following 2020 approval by the Federal Executive Council. Let's touch slightly oil and gas. I touched briefly on the AKK project, the groundbreaking of the 614-kilometer Ajaokuta, Kaduna, Abuja, Kano gas project. Work is ongoing and on schedule. And this is going to change a lot when it comes on stream with industrialization in the country, with power generation, and with raising of standard of living across the country. When you see what is happening in the country today, a lot of this foreign investment in industry, they are following power. Of course, labor is important, but the coastal areas have tended to be much of the beneficiaries. Lagos, Port Harcourt, Ogun. And the idea is that all of these things, when you make power available, east, north, south, east, and west, you're also you're fighting poverty, and by which you'll conquer insecurity. The government only recently has concluded the first marginal fields bid. For the first time in 20 years, this hadn't been done. And this has raised more than $500 million for the government. The government has also launched the national LPG expansion program, including the removal of VAT from LPG. This was done recently in Edo State. The financial close also and the signing of contract for LNG Train 7 has been accomplished. And this will grow Nigeria's capacity for gas by 35%. And the history behind this, if I might digress a bit, President Buhari, as Minister of Petroleum under Obasanjo, had envisioned all of this evolution of trades. When they left government in 1979, politicians abandoned this NLG development program. And as destiny will have it, Buhari has come back in another form as civilian, and he has picked it up from there, and this is where we are today. We had in 2021, we have early in this year, signed with Morocco an agreement to develop a multi-purpose platform, an industrial platform that will utilize Nigeria's gas and Moroccan phosphate to produce 750 tons of ammonia and 1 million tons of phosphate fertilizers annually from 2025. And this project is being located in Akwa Ibom State. So congratulations, National Secretary. In December 2020, the government also commissioned the new NPDC integrated gas handling facility in Edo State. Government also established a $350 million Nigerian Content Intervention Fund to finance manufacturing, contracts and assets in the oil and the gas industry. Policy, regulatory and funding support for the establishment of modular refineries across the Niger Delta has been put in place. When this administration came in 2015, we had only one functional modular refinery. Today, there are at least 6 ongoing modular refinery projects and expansion of ones that are already existing. Let's go to agriculture. And the quickest pick from here is the Anchor Borrowers Program. This country spent $5 million every day to import rice. Tell me one country that cannot feed itself that can call that country an independent one. Today, not $1 from Central Bank of Nigeria is issued for importation of rice. The Anchor Borrowers Scheme, launched in 2015 by President Buhari, has made funding to more than 2.9 million smallholder farmers in 21 different commodities. Not only rice, but wheat, maize, cotton, cassava, poultry, soybeans, groundnuts, and fish, cultivating over 3.6 million hectares of farmland. There is also the Presidential Fertilizer Initiative, which I brushed a short while ago, which was launched by government with the support of the Moroccan government, and the Russians have also joined us in this. In December 2016, this program helped to increase the number of fertilizer blending plants in the country from only 3 that were functional in 2016 to 44 today, employing thousands of people and saving the country more than $200 million in foreign exchange used for the importation of fertilizer. Government has also created special agro-industrial processing zones. And this is in partnership with the African Development Bank, led by a fellow Nigerian, IFAD, and the Bank of Industry. Under these special processing zones, centers are being provided with infrastructure such as water, electricity, and roads, as well as facilities for skills training. 7 states and the FCT have been selected for this. And the states are Ogun, Oyo, Imo, Cross River, Kano, Kaduna, and Kwara. Let me go to social investment program and the poverty alleviation. When President Muhammadu Buhari launched this program in 2016, which currently stands as the largest program now on the continent and one of the largest in the world, the National Social Register of Poor and Vulnerable Nigerians today has 32.6 million persons from more than 7 million poor and vulnerable households identified across 708 local council areas of the country, 8,723 wards, and 86,610 communities across the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT. From this number, 1.6 million of these poor and vulnerable households, comprising more than 8 million individuals, 45,744 communities from 5,483 wards in 7 local governments in 35 states and FCT are currently benefiting from a conditional cash transfer program, which pays a bi-monthly stipend of 10,000 naira per household. In January 2019, President Muhammadu Buhari launched the Nigeria's micro pension scheme. And you know that when he came in, he found, actually, before our eyes there, pensioners were dying, queuing for money which was not there. I hope you realize that that is no longer a part of the ecosystem. It's no longer in view. Pensions are being paid, backlog is being cleared, and people are being treated humanely. They don't have to queue to die to get pensions. My colleague here was just reminding me of the sordid scandal of the Nigeria Airways pensions. You know that when President Buhari put down money for pensions to be paid, in some families it is grandchildren who came to collect that pension. The actual workers had died, the children have died. It's the grandchildren who came forward to sign and collect that pension. So what the government is even doing now, with this new scheme, is that with less than 3 employees, you can save for a provision, for retirement or upon interdiction by Nigerians, so that you save for the rainy day. In January, President Muhammadu Buhari launched the Nigeria's macro pension scheme. That's the one. Okay. And there are so many other things, in order to bring Nigeria out of the COVID economy, which has shrunken economies all around the globe. And you know that China recorded 18.3% growth in the last quarter, And Europe is laughing at China. They don't want to believe it is true. But the fact of the matter is that only China grew by 3.something% under the COVID circumstances. All economies of the world regressed. And which country was the first to emerge from that recession? Nigeria. Came out in the first quarter of this year ahead of schedule, ahead of projection. And here we are today, rebuilding the economy. So we have a special spending project for 2.3 trillion naira to fund so many things in the country in order that the economy keeps being active, and then never again shall we go back to recession. Because it's extraordinarily skillful and display of competence for a country to survive 2 recessions in less than 5 years. It's difficult to find anywhere in the world, but here we are. So government has launched Survival Fund, National Youth Investment Fund, to pay creative young Nigerians to fund their own initiatives. The National Special Public Works Program, this 774 100,000 jobs that are being issued now. COVID-19 targeted credit facility for millions of small businesses, households, young people across the country with federal grants, loans, and stipends. Lastly, then, I will broach on the issue of security, which worries everyone, and is a matter that the government is not taking lightly. When we came in, it's documented, 14 local council areas were under Boko Haram, and they had declared their own Islamic caliphate with a flag and system of administration of their own, system of taxation, and this administration has smashed that out. Boko Haram is not in control of any territory that they can call on them. Hit and run, yes, they have resorted to mercenary tactics, guerrilla kind of warfare. But even as it is now, please watch out for what is happening with the changes that the president effected in the command structure of the military. So much action is going on. As you are aware, one newspaper yesterday scooped the story about the ongoing efforts to cut funding to Boko Haram, and used by bureaus de change and all of that. It is still work in progress. A lot of discoveries are being made. We are cutting funding to Boko Haram. We are cutting weapons supply. Government is successfully cutting supplies to Boko Haram of all manner of things. This is why today, as we speak, currently, you see what is happening now. Boko Haram is no longer fighting. It's today not fighting for Islamic Caliphate anymore. They are fighting for food and the weapons which they want to replenish, and for money, because they have turned into armed robbers. The attack they carried out 3-4 days ago on Damasak, they told people, don't bother, we are not here for you. We're here to collect food and drugs. And that's why they raided UN and other facilities, and they were just taking these things away. Well, I tell you this, the military is getting ready, because not only are they going to stop them from coming to the towns, they are going to stop them dead on their tracks in the forests. And my plea as I end this conversation is to ask, especially this large media presence here, I think that a lot of our media people should have a rethink of how they report Boko Haram. A lot of people, you ask them, they say they want to do balanced story. I don't know any country in which a terrorist and a legitimate democratically government are placed on an even keel. A terrorist and a bandit cannot be equated with a legitimate government. And the enormous publicity, Mrs. Thatcher said this so many years ago, publicity is oxygen to terrorists. And that is what they relish. Why give them front page? You know? And in any case, this is our own country. Why can't we look at things from a positive point of view? All of these people, I'm not sure there's anyone in this world that does not have a brother or a sister, an uncle or a father or even a mother that is one way or the other linked to the fight against banditry and terrorism in this country. They are our family members. We need to support them. They are fighting on our behalf so that we can go home and sleep while they tackle enemies on our behalf. So, as the philosophers teach, there is a glass of water that is, you have the choice of looking at it, either it is half empty or half full. Let's see this country as being more half full than half empty. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Look, one thing with this president, and the National Secretary has said a bit of that, is that you can't intimidate Buhari. You can't bully him. A lot of these people who are calling for secessions, they're the problem of this country. And I'm happy that reasonable opinion is now reasonable voices are now rising. Is it not only yesterday we were reading Afenifere saying we are not the most credible faction of Afenifere. We are not for secession. Or Haneze Ndibo has said this over and over again. So this thing about secession is, they had used it in the past. You cry secession and break off of Nigeria, and then you intimidate the city leader. And then he opens the vault and he brings money to settle people. President Buhari will pay no one. He's not going to pay. And now it is clear that having ignored all of that, reasonable opinions are coming from those states and from those regions. The governors in the Southwest, we have all had them. They have denounced all of these things. So it's a sham. Nigerians want to be one, they want to continue. Yes, there are problems, and we are hoping that as people united and loving of one another, we'll come together and solve our own problems. And that leads me to the next question, which is no, it's still part of his earlier question. Whether there should be national conference, and what national conference do you want more than a parliament? Any Democrat, anyone who is a Democrat in heart, in his heart, in her heart, in practice, in their beliefs, they should believe in the tripartite structure of governments that are democratic. There must be a parliament, executive arm of the government, and the judiciary, each one being independent and cooperating with the other. We have an elected parliament which mandate is to be the custodian of the sovereignty of the Nigerian people. Look, a lot of these people who are crying for this secession, they are unelectable. If you think you are electable, go around for a parliamentary seat, whether House of Reps or Senate, and come and table an amendment for the Constitution. The process is ongoing as we speak now. Under DSP, the Deputy Senate President, they are calling for memorandum. Why can't you present what you want? So the issue is that people who are not Democrats want a parallel parliament to be set up. And this Constitution does not recognize two parliaments in this country. We have one parliament that is sovereign, that is the custodian of the sovereignty of the Nigerian people. And believe then in periodic elections. If your member representing you has failed to present this request that you want, for whether it is a change of structure at state, local government, or national level, pull him out. 4 years after, don't vote for him. Put another rep who will do what you want. This is how democracy works, periodic elections. Now, this thing about security, that no day passes without media reporting killings. And it is tragic. Nobody is happy that deaths are being recorded. But the point I want to make is that it is in human nature. We don't know any country in the world today that is crime-free. I was going to, when the question was being raised, I was going to my WhatsApp messaging. An interesting conversation recently was around the publication of a new Nigerian newspaper. Tuesday, November 16, 1966. And on the front page of this newspaper, there's a story saying, Midwest police rescue 10 kidnapped men, 1966 in November. If you open the press today, and some people are reporting kidnapping, you will think that this is a first-time crime in the country. That is not. I'm not saying it is welcome. Please, I shouldn't be misunderstood. Even in the United States of America, I said 2 days ago, people were shot and killed. 8 of them for no reason. So we have problems with infiltration by unauthorized weapons. This is why President Buhari ordered that anyone caught with AK-47 that is not a law enforcement agent, is not authorized, that person should be shot if they don't surrender that weapon. We know where it is all coming. I'm not going into the history, all of the things that are happening in the Sahel and Libya, uncontrolled and ungoverned spaces around us, and the terrorists being recruited from our own people and the people from far and distant places, including those that were displaced in Iraq and Syria and Libya. So it's a big challenge. Let us cooperate with law enforcement in the country and to curtail these things. And a lot of the times, and I've said this a number of places, we also have bad eggs in our own communities who reveal the secrets of our military. They had this one in Katsina, and I've said it before. A tea seller near the airport, when they moved the aircraft to Katsina Airport to operate against bandits in Zamfara State. This man that sold tea near the airport, the sponsor of the bandits hired him, built a house for him, bought him a car, golf car, and gave him money to do bigger tea business. Each time an aircraft took off from Katsina Airport to go and operate in Zamfara, he will call them on phone and say they are coming. By the time they get there, the targets have disappeared. So there are bad people in our communities. What are we doing as citizens to rid ourselves of informants? Because the military people, they are as human as we are. They have blood running in their veins. So Nigerians will sleep with their 2 eyes open and give a chance to the ongoing exercises that are going on in the country. And the thing about law enforcement, and it's like journalism also. Every day you do good story, you don't hear anything. The day you publish a bad story, MD, everybody, editor is looking for your head. That's the way it happens. So our law enforcement agents, you can see steadily, I think that we are beginning to, I'm not saying that it is time to record that there is success. No, but we are getting there. We are building up to success in all of these operations. And look at what is happening in Benue lately, following the killing of the military men. A whole governor presenting himself there and saying, I apologize for the killings of these people. It tells you that people are beginning to say, look, we are all in this together. And we just have to work together to rid this country of these elements. Pantami, can you please excuse me because I've not been briefed. You want government position on this Pantami issue. I've not been briefed about it. I have my personal views about it, but I cannot disclose my personal, because I'm entitled to hold my personal opinion. Yes, sir. Now, the thing about Southeast is part of the earlier conversation we just had now. Criminals are fighting to gain the upper hand, but I tell you that no criminal or terrorist is bigger than this country. None of them is mightier than our armed forces. This structure has been there. They were certificated and praised for World War I, World War II. They stabilized the entire West Africa region. Without Nigeria, would there be Liberia in its present form? Would there be Sierra Leone in its present, or even Gambia? So just give it time and support and prayers. We will win against these forces. Thank you very much.